Welcome. Today we are stepping away from the comfort of social narratives and entering the world of biological data. You have probably heard the term black pill. To many it sounds like a dark ideology or a group of bitter people. But if you strip away the emotions and the internet drama, what remains is a collection of scientific facts about human evolution, sexual selection, and social hierarchy. We're going to treat this topic like biology. This is not about being good or evil. It is about the assembly of terminology and facts that explain why the world works the way it does. We will discuss why appearance is the foundation of human interaction, why charisma is a result of genetics, and whether or not medical intervention is a logical path for the individual. If you're looking for motivational speeches about how everyone is special, you are in the wrong place. We are here to look at the hard numbers and the brutal reality of the human animal. Human beings like to believe they are rational. We think we judge people based on their character or their soul. However, science proves the opposite through a phenomenon known as the halo effect. This is a cognitive bias where our overall impression of a person influences how we perceive their specific traits. Studies consistently show that when we see a person with high facial symmetry and strong bone structure, our brains automatically assign them positive attributes. We assume they are more intelligent, more trustworthy, and more capable. This happens in milliseconds before the person even opens their mouth. This is not a choice, it is a primitive survival mechanism. In the wild, health and genetic quality were signaled through physical markers. Today, those same markers determine your social value. If you lack these markers, you are starting every interaction with a subconscious penalty. No amount of personality can fully override this initial biological filter. Let us break down the terminology of the face. The two most important factors are sexual dimorphism and facial harmony. Sexual dimorphism refers to how clearly your features signal your biological sex. For men, this involves the development of the lower third of the face. A wide jaw, a thick mandible, and a prominent chin are signals of high testosterone during puberty. These features are not just aesthetic, they are indicators of physical health and dominance. Then we have facial harmony and the golden ratio. This involves the spacing between the eyes, the tilt of the eyes known as the canthal tilt, and the width of the midface, the canthal tilt. A positive canthal tilt where the outer corner of the eye is higher than the inner corner is associated with a more aggressive and attractive look. A negative tilt can make a person look tired or weak. The brow ridge. A prominent brow ridge protects the eyes and signals masculinity. FWHR. This is the facial width to height ratio. High FWHR is statistically linked to perceived dominance and success in competitive environments. When people talk about looks, they often focus on skin or hair, but the black pill teaches us that bone structure is the true master. You can change your haircut, but you cannot change the length of your midface or the width of your jaw without surgery. Height is perhaps the most brutal part of the biological reality. It is one of the few traits that is almost entirely determined by genetics and nutrition during the growing years. Data shows a direct correlation between height and social status. Taller men earn more money on average and are more likely to hold leadership positions. In dating, the height requirement is a well-documented reality of the sexual market. Why is this? Because height is a primary signal of physical power. Even in a modern world where we use computers instead of spears, our lizard brains still respond to height as a marker of authority. If you are below the average height for your demographic, you are essentially invisible to a large portion of the population, regardless of your achievements. It is a biological wall that many refuse to acknowledge because it feels unfair. But biology does not care about fairness. Common advice tells you to just be confident or have charisma. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of how psychology works. Charisma is not something you are born with in a vacuum. It is the result of a feedback loop between you and society. Think about it this way. If a person with high physical attractiveness enters a room, people smile at him. They lean in when that person speaks. They laugh at their jokes even if they aren't funny. This positive reinforcement tells the person's brain that they are high value. As a result, they become relaxed, confident, and charismatic. Now imagine a person with low physical value. When they speak, people might look away or give short, disinterested answers. They face a lifetime of subtle social rejection. This conditions their nervous system to be anxious and defensive. Confidence is a reflection of how the world treats you. If you have the genetic mask of a leader, you will be treated like a leader, and you will eventually become one. Without the mask, you are fighting your own biology, and the biology of everyone around you. The black pill also extends to the mind. We often talk about hustle and willpower as if they are spiritual qualities. In reality, they are neurochemical. The density of your dopamine receptors and the efficiency of your prefrontal cortex are determined by your DNA. Some people are born with a brain that is wired for focus and persistence. Others are born with a predisposition toward anxiety or low motivation. This means that even your personality is a product of your biological hardware. When you combine physical appearance with genetic brain chemistry, you see that the idea of the self-made man is largely a myth. Most successful people were simply born with the right hardware for the environment they live in. Recognizing this is not about being a victim. It is about understanding the limitations of the human machine. So what is the solution? This is where looks maxing comes in. It is the logical response to the facts of the black pill. If appearance is the currency of the world, You must accumulate as much of it as possible. Softmaxing is the baseline. This includes low body fat percentage, clear skin, dental hygiene, and a well-developed physique. This is non-negotiable. If you are not at a low body fat percentage, you don't even know what your actual bone structure looks like. You are hiding your potential under a layer of inflammation and fat. Hard maxing involves surgical intervention. This is where you have to be very careful. Orthognathic surgery. Changing the position of the jaw can have a massive impact on facial harmony and health. Rhinoplasty. Fixing a crooked or large nose can bring balance to the face. Implants. Using silicone or medper to enhance the chin or cheekbones. Is it worth it? From a biological standpoint, yes. If an operation moves you from a 4 to a 7, your quality of life will objectively improve because people will treat you better. However, the underwater rocks or hidden dangers are real. Dysmorphia can lead you to chase perfection that doesn't exist. You must treat surgery like an engineering project. Fix what is broken, but do not try to rebuild the entire machine, or you will end up looking like an uncanny valley freak. In conclusion, the black pill is not a call to give up. It is a call to wake up. It is the transition from living in a fantasy world of personality to living in a real world of biology. When you accept that appearance is the foundation of social interaction, you stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You focus on your health, your bone structure, and your objective value. You stop taking social rejection personally because you realize it is just a biological reaction to your current stats. Knowledge is power, even if the knowledge is brutal. Use these facts to navigate the world more effectively. Don't be a victim of your biology. Be the architect of it.